There will be a new moon at 29 degrees Gemini on June 19th, 2012 at 8:02 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for those of us in California, 3:02 p.m. Universal Time for everyone else. This is a time for socializing, manifesting, praying, vocalizing, and meditating out loud. Let every tone and note of your voice give form to your thoughts, using air as the vessel of manifestation. Mercury ruled Gemini chimes, harmonizes, echoes, and conveys the communication of information in all of its forms. Gemini and its intellectual air siblings, Libra and Aquarius, are the essence of the transubstantiation of conscious thought into multidimensional form. Since Libra is in Saturn, the planet of contraction and limitation, expect the trined and unified influence of the air signs to push the proverbial envelope of form with the vibrating sound waves of vocalization or music. Listen closely to the singing of Mother Nature through the birds and the bees, the artist and the trees. While Saturn is normally associated with authority and limits, Saturn also works to define the mathematical thresholds found in the seeds of existence that are engineered using sacred geometry. Without Saturn's definition of crucial thresholds and boundaries, the bodies we inhabit on the physical plane of reality could not exist. Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac, located in the spring quadrant of the zodiac ecliptic. Gemini is a mutable air sign that is intellectual, adaptive, artistic, and communicative. It is the first mutable sign of the zodiac and facilitates the change from the intuitive nature of the spring into the feeling atmosphere of the summer. Every new moon is the seeding of ideas, ambitions, and desires into our monthly emotional cycle in anticipation of delivery at the full moon. The new moon is about setting your goals, and the full moon is about integrating your goals. With the transit of Jupiter this month, it is time to declare grand ambitions and aim for noon along with the forces of Jupiter and the ninth house. The zodiac sign of Gemini is known as the twins, Castor and Pollux. According to mythology, Castor and Pollux were born out of an egg after Zeus disguised himself as a swan and mated with their mother Leda. The twins were said to have been part of Jason and the Argonauts' quest to find the Golden Fleece. Unfortunately, the mortal brother Castor was killed in the battle, and the demigod Pollux asked that his brother be saved. As a compromise, both brothers were placed among the stars for eternity. There is also a set of female twins named Clytemnestra and Helen. There is no evidence to verify which of the four children were the demigods and which were mortal. It is commonly accepted that Castor and Helen were the immortals, while Pollux and Clytemnestra were considered the mortals conceived by Leda's husband, King Tyndareus of Sparta. But the most common version of the Gemini myth is about Castor and Pollux. Gemini is not just known as the pillars of knowledge because of their wide range of information and cutting-edge thinking. The Roman numeral 2 that symbolizes both the twins and the pillars also represent Gemini's capacity to always see both sides of a story. These two pillars also represent the conscious and unconscious thought of people individually and as a cosmic collective of consciousness here on Earth. Gemini represents the lovers among the trump cards of the tarot. Among elemental court cards, Gemini defines the 8, 9, and 10 of swords. Collectively, these cards address issues of self-determination, politics, and awareness. They represent the crescendo of productivity and creativity that are co-created through communication. The gift of air literally can engineer a stairway to heaven in terms of language, poetry, and art. Air is the medium of inspiration used by muses everywhere. Beware of the negative side of life associated with places of oppression that energetically block your throat chakra. Such influences may cause you to swallow your opinion and submit to the unscrupulous agenda of duality consciousness. In such cases, the air is literally sucked out of your environment, leaving you gasping for breath. The air can be turned into the cutting swords of gossip, and politics that slow down personal development with the despair and cruelty of unsolicited words. Since Jupiter has moved into Gemini, we can expect a grandiose battle of wills and wits between the pessimists and the optimists. Gemini passes the baton of intuition to Queen Juno's hero, Cancer. Our watery cardinal proceeds to transform the fiery tetrahedron of intuition into the watery icosahedron of feeling. The cardinal moon deity ushers in the summer solstice, complete with an act that causes the disappearance of the shadow of the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt and the runway appearance of Quetzalcoatl at Chichen Itza. On June 11th, Jupiter moved into Gemini, setting the stage for humanity to be intellectually nimble and dynamic. Jupiter typically rules the 9th house of the zodiac, which is where Sagittarius resides. Since Jupiter is in an opposite house placement, this can be a time of mental conflicts unless you decide to be okay with contradictions and that which you learn from the challenges placed before you. Jupiter will continue to encourage us to be optimistic in our perceptions of life, count our blessings, and celebrate all the accomplishments that have taken place recently. This is a time to see the glasses half full instead of half empty. Jaguar and Dragon influences are still on the loose, so be careful to stay positive. This new moon goes into Gemini and trines with Saturn and Neptune right before the summer begins. This trine will be the equivalent of Neptune and the moon having a mafia sit-down with the father of time, Saturn. In this matchup, it will be left brain versus right brain, and Saturn won't stand a chance against the two titans of intuition and compassion.
Say hello to my little friend!
The Cancer-associated moon with Pisces-associated Neptune will open a portal between dreams, high expectations, and tangible goals. This alliance between these powerful forces will be the equivalent of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and giving it to the inhabitants of Earth. Prepare to watch people reclaim their power and raise their voices. Uranus and Pluto join the alliance and create real change through hard work, tenacity, and sacrifice. Together they will make it rain the sweet ambrosia of spirit and determination on the garden of transformation. Such metamorphosis expands will and consciousness while cultivating the seeds to create a sustainable utopia. On June 24th, Pluto forms a square with Uranus and the revolution of thought into action begins. The Dragon of the East and Quetzalcoatl will be soul training with everyone that chooses sovereignty and self-determination over tyranny. Victimization moves to the side as we improve ourselves in order to grab a hold of Cancer's chariot of fire and charge into the proverbial Tower of Babylon. Uranus in Aries represents the self-sufficiency of the earth beneath your feet and is the cornucopia of opportunity and pioneering. It is time to take action for change. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The new moon in Gemini emphasizes the ley lines on the earth that are mirrored in the celestial sphere of the zodiac ecliptic. Lines that remind us that we are all upon the same earth in the same family. Right now, you are the voice of reason at work and at home. You are willing to try a variety of approaches to create new opportunities, settle conflicts, and remind people that they are on the same side when they step away from the mind chatter of duality consciousness. As you slowly pull back the veil of logic and expanded consciousness, be certain to make sure that all those around you are reminded about the significance of their role in your life. Being a good leader also means co-creating a safe environment that people will thrive in without making it so easy that they develop no life skills. This is your reminder to look for strengths over weaknesses and good over evil, because in this vein, we often find exactly what we're looking for. With the right attitude, your bounty will be much more valuable than Jason's golden fleece. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It is emotional cleansing and spiritual growth time as the solstice arrives, and it could not have arrived soon enough. Development of patience, tolerance, understanding, and support causes a supernova-like burst of light into your consciousness. Your personal and family life are at center stage, and you want the very best for your family and your friends. Self-examination, letting go of the past, and following your dreams are just a few areas of awareness that are essential for sparking your emotional rebirth. Meditation or prayer make it easier for you to ascend the sublime spirals of life, self-actualization, awareness, and spiritual ascension. This is a time for nesting and fortifying your home, family, and community. You want to live in wholeness and harmony with your environment. Your imagination and faith will contribute to the manifestation of paradise, if only for the weekends. Beware of escapism. One of the gifts of the Queen of Cups is to learn how to manage your emotions to the point that escape is never needed. But stay sharp, because procrastination is like a ninja on a rooftop waiting to take you down. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. The cornucopia of communication ushered in by last month's solar eclipse continues to expand and spiral outward with the great force of the jaguar's fierce hind legs. You are currently serving as an electromagnetic superconductor for growth in your community. You are transcending your physical limitations as a star tetrahedron and literally becoming a leader of light whose creed is decisive action and extravagant expansion. Leo is attracting open minds that are living in harmony with their life's purpose. Sagittarius is fanning the flames of creation that are manifesting the age of Aquarius through each of the swords that make up the air signs. Such fiery processes are the actions of a Lotus taskmaster polarized through the lens of the Gemini new moon. The Aries horn of plenty is producing a spectrum of change that inspires people to redefine themselves by recognizing that all virtues lead to one conclusion: we are all one. The power of Mercury's Phoenix staff assists you in conducting a symphony of creativity that is slowly manifesting heaven on earth based on art, creativity, and philosophy. Your actions show that you are pregnant with the new renaissance of life, provided you let nothing or no one get you down. Don't forget to ask yourself, is it a trial by fire or a rite of passage? Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Prepare to fly without a net this last bend of the Gemini sun. While growth, pragmatism, and preparation reign supreme, the influence of the air continuum is giving you a much-needed reminder about the power of faith and the law of attraction. Please gently remind yourself that love is what you were born with, fear is what you learn. When the solstice arrives, the challenge of the last few weeks will be put on pause for a few days while you enjoy the festivities of the sun. The Cancer sun will be inviting you to heal through social engagement without ignoring your commitment to take care of responsibilities. All of the air and fire influence that have passed so far will continue to encourage you to make epic fun out of meeting your obligations and transform your aversion to negative situations in the process. While it may have been a challenge to keep up with the crystal rabbit moon of cooperation, please remember that this is not a time to be your own worst critic. Do yourself a favor and focus on everything you've accomplished instead of moving on to the next task without stopping to breathe or acknowledging your successes. Besides, there will be plenty of time for scrutiny next month when Mercury goes retrograde on July 14th. Venus comes out of retrograde June 27th at 8 a.m. shortly after Neptune squares with Jupiter. Imaginations and ambitions will inflate, helping us to integrate all of the shadow work we will be downloading from Venus's 6-week tour. Hopefully, through the challenges, you learn something about yourself and those that you love, and you are integrating it into your life without judgment. This is a great opportunity to evaluate how strong love can be when you learn to trust those that you care for. Love is considered by many the original tetragrammaton that connects all people to our cosmic creator. Set your goals high this cycle because the next stop will be the full thunder moon in Capricorn. Be ready to climb as high as you can with the Saturn-influenced ruler of the 10th house, and be ready to swim to the deepest depths of your emotions with the strength of the goatfish Capricorn. Rumi teaches us, only from the heart can you touch the sky. Our heart oscillates between our highest and lowest points of emotion and ambitions in step with our families and communities. Each swing of the Gemini pendulum advances us one more step into the age of Aquarius. And that's this week's report.
Over the sea.